Hi, Scott here. Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm reading this book at the moment called Mini Habits, and it's just fantastic. Now I'd like to give you three main points that I've taken out of this book that are the reasons for doing mini habits and why they're so powerful. And hopefully they'll inspire you to try, get the book and try to form some mini habits of your own. And the whole point is they are mini habits and they breed success. So there are three major points I want to discuss with you. The first one is the habits part. Now I've talked about habits before. Habits are very important. The main reason for habits being so important is that it means you can do things without thinking. There's only so much willpower or motivation you can get during the day. And that's what you can drive you to do something. But to do something continually, every day, something you need to do to reach your success, means you've got to form a habit. And the habit part of this is just incredibly important, because without the habits you won't do the things every day that you need to do to create the success you want. So I've talked about that before, so I won't go any further about that. You should now know just how important habits are. And now for the mini part, and the point number 2. Why is a mini habit so important? Well, the thing about a mini habit is mini, and that means it's easy. It's easy. If it's easy to achieve, you're much more likely to do it. If you set yourself a big habit to form, and you set yourself, say you want to get fit, and you want to do, I don't know, 50 push-ups a day. Okay, that's a great goal. But would you be able to do 50 push-ups every day? Probably not. There'll probably be a few days where you don't have time, or you just haven't got the energy, or you feel a bit sick, and you'll find a reason not to do it. So the point that he makes in the book is that he has a target of 1 push-up. Okay, that sounds ridiculously easy, right? And that's the whole point. Because starting something which you know you've got to do, often the hardest part is starting it. It's hard just to get going. Now the reason, well, that's point number 3, sorry. So point number 2, so you make it small, like 1 push-up, because you know you can do it, and it's easy. So you go and do your 1 push-up. Now here's the clever bit. You do your 1 push-up, but you don't have to limit it to 1 push-up, obviously. The whole point is you can do as many as you want. But getting going is the mini part. That's the part that gets you 1 push-up, and then you can do 30, 40, 50 push-ups, depending on how much time, how much energy, how much motivation, how much you want it. But the fact is, your goal was to do that 1 push-up for your mini habit. And that leads on to point 3. So the point 3 of forming these mini habits is that you're going to create mini habits. You can create a number of them, and you're going to do them every day. You will do them every day. You'll make them so mini that it's easy, and you'd be silly not to do them. Sometimes you might think of the last thing at night, before you go to sleep, go, I haven't done my mini habits. Then you can just go and do them, because they are so simple and so quick. You can just do the bare minimum. That's the whole point. So by doing them every day, and what you can do here is you can actually print out a calendar. I printed out a yearly calendar and just put a big X, yearly calendar for my mini habits, and put a big red X on the day I complete them. And I've said about this before. Jerry Seinfeld started this off a few years ago, where he had a big calendar and he just joined the cross off every day, and soon you get a nice big chain, and then you don't want to break that chain, and you've got no reason to, because your habits are so small and so achievable. And another good advantage of this is not only are you doing this, are you actually achieving success every day, but now you can go to bed, and this is what something that I can relate to. you can go to bed knowing you've done your minimum for the day. You know you've completed everything that you need to do that day. Okay, they may only be small, but the fact is you're forming a habit, right? That's the important thing. To do that, you've got to do it every day. So now you're forming a habit by performing these mini habits, and you can go to bed happy, content that you know you've done your mini habits. You know you've done your mini goals for the day. Instead, which is what I used to do, is do most of them and then go to bed and think, I didn't do that, what did I? I forgot to do that. And you get more upset about the thing you didn't do than you do about the good things you did do. And that's what this gets rid of. This gets rid of that bad side of things. So by doing your mini habits, you know you can complete all of them because you can do your one push-up. You can do your one mini goal, your number of mini goals, and get them done every day. And you can feel good about it, good in yourself that you've done it. So by creating these mini habits, the whole point of course is to create the habit. And there's no reason why you can't, exceed your mini habits every single day. But by having the mini habit, you will be able to do it and achieve that, and you'll have the satisfaction of achieving your mini goal or your mini habit. And then you can exceed it. So you want to do more than one push-up, do more than one push-up. You want to write more than your mini habit of say 50 words a day, you can write a few thousand words a day. You can do as much as you want. But if you have a bad day where you're really pushed for time, or you forget, or you feel sick, or you just no energy, or you've got better things to do like have a holiday, you can just write your 50 words and put a nice big red cross in your mini habits calendar. And how good is that? So that's teaching you that you are succeeding. You are creating these mini habits, which is the important thing, to create the habit, and you are succeeding every day. Every day you can go to sleep knowing you've done your minimum. And your minimum is great. It's not a little bit, it's great because you're forming the habit. And that's fantastic. So I love the philosophy behind it, behind the book, and the way he speaks about it. It's quite a 3 or 4 hours in the audio book. So there's a fair bit of meat to it, but they're the 3 major points that I picked up. And I highly recommend that you read it because it could well change the way you look at habits. Instead of trying to go for these big habits, which is really what you want to do, and then not doing it sometimes because, like I said, no energy, no time, whatever the reason may be, and then you get despondent, and then you give up forming that habit, and it never forms. And that's no good because the whole point is to form these habits. So by forming the mini habits, you can then meet them and exceed them every day. And that's awesome. I love it. So pick up the book, Mini Habits. I'll put a picture somewhere. And keep taking that action. Dream big, take lots of action. Scott from Build My Lifestyle. I'll be speaking to you soon. Take care.